guys, good morning to you. Welcome to my Ocean One channel. And I've had a lot of people reaching out to me asking me about the 10K. Why didn't that get filed? And before we jump into that, let's get the YouTube disclaimers out of the way. None of my statements or content constitute professional advice. Viewers that follow any advice, instructions, or suggestions do so at their own risk. And of course, that's the way that it has to be because you are responsible for your own actions. So I've been talking basically for the past 2 weeks about Fisker filing the 10K and stopping the dilution from the note holder. And, all signs pointed to that ending Friday because Fisker had told us that they had expected to file the 10K by March the 15th, and they did not. So what's up? Well, my first original thought was, this can't be good. They've missed 2 filings in a row. And then I'm like, well, maybe it has something to do with the potential merger from Nissan, and Nissan's wanting, an extra audit or something along the lines. But now I fully admit that this is out of my area. I mean, I'm pretty good on stocks and stuff like that. But generally speaking, when you start getting into the CPA side of it, I struggle with that lawyer language and stuff like that. So what I did is I reached out to a friend of mine who is a CPA and works for an auditing firm. So, I'm not going to directly quote him. I don't think that's fair. I am going to paraphrase what he told me, in the comments. Well, what do we know for sure? Well, the only thing that we really know for sure comes from investor relations. And there's an email going around where Eric had responded to some people. And I'm going to read, this is not from me. This is from StockTwits. It says, PwC hasn't finished their audit. So, that's really what we're looking at. So what I did is I reached out to, that friend that I mentioned earlier, and I'm like, hey, what are your thoughts on this? What does this mean to you? Friend said that he really didn't think that this would have anything to do with the merger, that this would mostly simply be a sign that Fisker did not have their records in order, their financial records. So it's taking the auditors longer than it normally would have, and that clearly falls on Fisker's side. That does not fall on the auditor's side. That falls on Fisker's side. So what does that mean? That simply probably means that Fisker's books were a mess. Now, hopefully this mess is mostly due to, I'm just going to speculate here and say complicated financials, where we basically went from no revenue to a bunch of revenue in several different countries. Maybe that's what it revolves around. Maybe it revolves around deferred revenue. It's just all speculation on my part. That this is not really my strong suit in the first place. But I can read as well as anybody. I can reach out to people that understand this stuff better than I do. And I can still take a holistic view of it. I think we simply have to ask ourselves what caused the delay. And I think there's no getting around the fact that Fisker caused this delay. And so, we just pretty much have to put this at the feet of Fisker. Now, what happens going forward? Well, that's really unclear to me what will happen going forward because from my point of view, Fisker's already valued for bankruptcy. We were what, 17 cents, 18, 19, 20 cents, roughly in that neighborhood. We're already valued for bankruptcy. So I don't think that this will have a positive or negative effect on the share price per se, unless other news comes out. Now, I do think, if there was detrimental news, of course, we would trade on that. And if there was good news, we would trade on that. But as far as missing this deadline, I don't think that anything share price wise would be too terrible, in either directions. It's all speculation at this point anyway. Best guess from my CPA friend is he thinks, that they found some errors, mistakes in the financials, and Fisker has to go back and fix them. And then once Fisker goes back and fixes them, then the audit can continue, you know, and eventually get the stamp of approval. So that's what we're looking for. So let's recap here. PwC has not finished their audit, and they've probably not finished their audit because Fisker's books were a mess, probably. I'm speculating. You know, auditors, they have rules that they have to follow. So if they find something, you know, they have to tell Fisker to fix it. And then once they fix it, then the auditors can continue their job. So we're just going to have to wait and see how this plays out. And like I said, you know, I don't think this will have a detrimental effect on the share price because the share price has already been decimated. You know, let's face it. We are priced for bankruptcy. I don't see, you know, any other, you know, possible scenario there as far as our share price. Now, that does not mean we're going bankrupt. That simply means we're priced for bankruptcy. So we'll just have to see how this plays out. I don't see a good way, you know, to positively spin this. I wouldn't even try. It's just simply, you know, it is what it is until we see something differently. So I will remain an investor here. I've made that decision. I'll live with that. I drive the product every day, and I've been doing reviews over it, and I know how good it is. I think another company would be silly not to step in and take advantage of what Fisker has done so far. So, you know, we're just going to have to see. The one thing that Fisker needs, though, is they need to get their house in order, and they need to start walking the walk and stop talking the talk. The product is good, but, you know, stuff like this takes its toll on investors. So, you know, come on, Fisker. Let's fix it, and let's get it together. All right, guys, I hope you found this video helpful. I told you I would try to, you know, keep you informed the best that I can. And this one was a little out of my area, so I stepped out and got a little help, and I appreciate the person that helped me on this. All right, guys, thanks a lot, and until next time.